we doing?
I'm just gonna make routes really quick from scratch.
Okay.
Should be pretty fast.
Okay.
They're not really changing much like week to week, but me and Dran were like in Discord yesterday, like making up routes and stuff. It was kind of fun. I kind of wanted to record it and then maybe post it on YouTube if it comes out okay. But it'd be cool to like every week I'll have like someone else or like a different group of people like weighing in, because like I don't heal a lot, so it'd be good to get like perspective.
Okay. Sounds good. This week is a dumpster fire
Yeah.
for healing.
Yeah, true. Cool. All right, so starting with DOS. Affixes this week: Inspired, Grievous, Fortified.
Are we talking primarily about Inspired?
Yeah, kinda. So, I don't know if am I sharing my screen in Discord? Yeah.
You are, yeah.
Cool,
Looking
cool.
at it.
Okay. So, other side, I think I'm gonna keep my route like pretty much the same as I normally do, because the inspired mobs here, like this raptor, kind of dies instantly. Or I guess if you really wanted to, you could like CC him and then do him with the frost guy.
Sure.
But usually we can kill this guy pretty quick, and like I'll just have defensives on pull for the death speaker. But I guess depending on what tank you play, maybe you want to knock that guy out, CC him, and then do frosty. This guy.
Did they pull? Wait. Let's talk about that green pack. They pull separately, right? Like you can pull those 3 mobs with the death speaker prior to pulling the other guy.
Can you? No, I think that's the other. This platform here. You can pull these two.
Is that the one with the? This is the one together. That's the one with the little raptor guy that's separate.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, this one's all together. I don't think you can change that. This guy is dangerous as fuck if no one pops cooldowns, right? So, like you jar the first one, and then if you get a second one and it goes longer, you're gonna have a lot of Grievous and you might die.
Yes.
I feel like CD something here, which is like hard because everyone knows that, like, not everyone knows, but like, you know, in our group, everyone knows I'm gonna pull this all together, so everyone wants to CD this.
Yeah.
But the inspired doesn't matter here at all, because I think you can still soothe them. But either way, it's this raptor, which is like dead
He's
very
dead in a minute.
fast.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really
very
matter.
quickly.
Then we pop in here, and who's this week? Veruth. Veruth kind of sucks this week.
Yeah.
I guess you want to make sure everyone's top before you pull him, so you don't get like fucked over.
Yeah, I was in Spires and someone pulled a Veruth when there were like 8 combined Grievous stacks out.
Oh no. Yeah, and then there's like no getting out of that.
Yeah, also the double pull, we'll probably talk about it with Spires, but the double pull with Spires, and it's either Veruth or the Flame guy, once you finish the second boss, is very hard. It's very hard.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's
people
Fire
like to pull
guy.
that Hellion.
Yeah, people like
it's
to pull
like
the Hellion
no.
on top of it. I think it's the Fire guy, so it's a little less dangerous than if it was this comp, but
yeah.
Veruth is generally the tormentor you want to win.
Pretty toxic. And if you can like immune anything to stay above 90%, like save so much healing, and then your healer could just DPS and it ends faster.
Yeah, anything that block those stacks. Like if you have a good group with a lot of either like Bops or Dark Iron Dwarfs, or you know, you maybe have a Kyrian Paladin, or you have a couple different options to like not take those like damage. I think it's a healing reduction debuff.
Yeah.
In the little red circle. Like I
think it's just a bleed, but like his overall aura is 50% less heals.
Yeah, but
so
when
like,
that bleed combines with that aura, it's basically like anything you put on that character is just like garbage until that bleed is over.
Yeah, exactly.
Like sometimes I don't even bother healing that person if I can get away with it.
Yeah, if you can just like kill him and then top him off later, like that's better.
Yeah.
Anything like Ice Block, Turtle, and all that Feign stuff will be good.
I'd say for like newer people, like Veruth, just like take Veruth by himself to start.
And CD him if you can.
Yeah, and definitely save a CD.
Word.
So.
Yeah, that's good.
He's probably my least favorite tormentor to heal.
For sure. Yeah, he's annoying as fuck.
He can be bad, especially this week.
I'm gonna make like the route that I normally do. I think I'm gonna do just one route. I'll just do like what I plan on doing, and then like I don't know, maybe if I want to make it easier one later. But I'll just do whatever I plan on doing for the week. So we'll do our skip route. we come
Right.
out, we do this guy. And then depending on CDs, like what do you prefer as I guess it depends on your CDs, but do you like pulling this mini boss like in the corner or doing this pack first and then pulling them later with all the space?
The Fireboy this week there.
Allegedly. I feel like this has been wrong before.
I
So I
feel
don't
like
know, but
that's I feel like that's usually Cold Heart.
I think they switch.
Oh, maybe. Oh yeah, Cold Heart in this dungeon. This is kind of weird because Cold Heart and Fireboy swap, where it's usually the two.
And Varuth and
Yeah,
Soggy switch too.
yeah. Normally it's Varuth and Fireboy that swap. I think in most keys. So this
Oh,
is
really? Okay.
maybe that's right. With him,
Hair's
you
all
just
fucked
really
up.
got to be careful about not butt pulling with him.
Right,
I-
right.
This week I wouldn't pull anything on top of him.
No, for
just
sure. But
because
I'm
the
saying like,
inspiring.
would you? Because sometimes like if I have Incarn, I'll just pull this stuff to the jar, and then we'll just do the mini boss later.
Mhm.
Because like if you pull everything in this corner, like you're really not gonna accidentally pull him. But if you pull the mini boss before the trash, sometimes like especially if it's Oros, you get like knocked. Or if you're trying
Right.
to avoid the circles here, like maybe someone pulls this guy.
If it's Oros, I don't care. It's like whatever
Mm-hmm.
lines up better. The only reason I would say you skip Fireboy and pull the other guys first is if for some reason you're waiting for a big cooldown. Like on a fortified week, if you're bringing like a Venthyr Druid, you probably want to pull that with the big amount of trash, not the
Right.
Tormentor, right?
That makes
Other
sense.
than that, I'm all about getting the DPS power as quickly as I can. I know it's only one pull and it's probably not a huge amount, but I think I would take the DPS power
That makes sense.
first, unless there's a really good reason for it, like a huge cooldown. So,
Word. Okay. Moving on to Ardenweald. This guy's inspired, the Rune Stag, but this doesn't really matter until you have to kite. I guess just like try to focus this guy down and then kite after.
yeah.
I've been
That's
tagging this
that's
pack
the big
too.
Rune Stag, right? That's the big Rune
No, it's a
Stag.
little. Wait, it's a juvenile Rune Stag, so he's
Oh,
smaller.
it's a baby one.
Yeah, it's not the main guy.
This trash isn't that scary.
Yeah, it's really
general,
not.
Right? Like, there's no castable ability that you like really have to watch out for in here. You just have to be
It's
careful
just
about
tank damage.
how much, right? How much in tank damage. So maybe you incarn a big one if you're on your druid. But I think if you like even if you're like on your paladin, if you can blast Argent Defender at the front,
Yeah,
kill that thing real quick and just have your
and then just
DPS
kite around.
prioritize it, it's down to just a regular pool again. Granted
True.
fortified, but yeah.
That makes sense.
If it was the big juvenile one, you just have to be careful with the swirlies on the ground being buffed, because there's some weeks like bolstering weeks, but this week is the inspiring is kind of like a bolster, but everything hits harder. But those swirlies on the ground in that thing can maybe one shot you on a higher key.
True.
So that's something to be aware of.
So this, I kind of just wing this pull. Like, if I have Incarn, I'll pull like a fuck ton of it. If I don't, I'll
Yeah.
kind of like stagger it. But so I guess ignore like the groupings of this pull. And
I
then,
think this is a really important week to pull a lot in Ardenweald, right?
hell yeah.
Anything you can skip beyond this is like gravy, because yeah, inspiring isn't a fun mechanic, especially with fortified, but I think if you can get the most percentage here, it's the least dangerous part of the dungeon.
For sure. The only thing that looks a little toxic actually is this is inspired and it's next to the hatchling.
Yeah. That hatchling
I guess we could nuke him, but
does not have a lot of DPS. If all 5 of your party members, including your healer, just look at it, it's dead. I think it's dead before it
True.
even gets a cry
Okay.
off. You can drop a CC
I can
and pull the
I can
hatchling back.
typhoon the blade beak out and then roar like, or I could typhoon him out and then we like hodge it
Yeah.
and then we kill it.
Yeah.
So if you
can
need to do
rock
something like
it,
that, I guess you
you can do
can.
a couple things like that, sure.
Like emergency. So this one obviously don't pull a matriarch like ever.
Yeah.
Pull this whole section, not necessarily all together, but cool. So we do that, then we come out here, we do our invis skip that's like toxic as hell. This guy's
Yes.
inspired, which kind of sucks, kind of, but I mean, I guess kick these guys. I can't in-cap roar the spins,
Right.
so I don't know, whatever. I guess just we have CDs because we're walking like 10 miles to get here, so blow everything here. invis skip to this. This pack will fucking truck. Like, I'd almost maybe save Ashen for healing through this pull. If we have a lot of DPS here. Like, if we have, like, Incarn and, like, everything.
Yes.
At least nothing's inspired. But, like, this does huge group damage on Fortified. And with Grievous, it's going to get out of control. Like, maybe Ashen there or something. Or, like, have a big healer CD.
Yeah, there's no inspiring in that 3-pack, though. That would be utterly toxic.
That'd be bad.
Yeah.
And skip all these like we always do. This is my favorite DOS route. It's a little sketchy in like pugs, but I don't know. I'm just going to do what I plan on doing. Then we walk past this, which is dope because this is inspired, which usually is annoying because you have to like taunt him back and then kill these guys.
Yeah.
But you just walk around this side here. Oh, this guy's inspired. Oh, that's
So which one is inspired? Is it the Hoodoo
it's the
Hexer?
Priest.
The Priest. So the Hoodoo Hexer is the dangerous one, right?
This is the one that does. So this is the one.
Full heal.
The Hexer does the big heal. This is the one that needs to be kicked. So honestly, if we have a fuck ton of time, I would honestly just like solo this guy.
Yeah.
And then everything else is pretty much fine. Maybe solo him or get him like low enough and do this. This pulls like normal.
Well, a lot of players don't like killing a solo mob, like ever. You know,
I know.
So I feel like you almost want to CC the inspired, pull the 4 together, and then once the Hoodoo Hexer dies, pull in the inspired and kill that. Because you're not generally, I don't see groups stun the whirlwind guys. They're not really that scary.
I always roar them.
Yeah.
How I live. But I mean, you could just run, I guess. Or yeah, the thing is that I'm thinking is like if this whole route goes fine, we have like
safety,
a lot of time.
Right? Yeah.
Like this, usually if you get to this and you're like short on time, like something terrible has happened. The route, like usually if this route goes fine, we have like fucking like 8 minutes, like when we get to Hakar. Yeah. Usually, but I mean, no. And we're also over by 2%.
You know what? It might depend on who's in your group, right? If you have a huge melee group, you know, pull it all in, right? And then just CC that ad and bring it in once the guy dies, the Hoodoo Hexer dies. If you're high melee, then yeah, maybe you kill it, and then maybe you just target the inspiring quickly.
Cool. All right.
But I agree. I'm all for safety. When we talk about theater.
Okay, let's go theater next. Yeah.
I feel like I've run more theaters this week, and we had a bad theater.
Yeah, I was talking to Drand about his route. He was telling me about like the ones inspired there. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna kind of make it real quick, and then we can talk about like the individual points. But stall through here.
Before we start here, let's go to the PvP wing, because this is ultimately like the point this week where I think you have to decide in your route before you ever do anything, right? So your option here is you got to pull all this stuff, right? But this middle pack with the inspiring, the scary pack here.
Yeah.
What do you do about this?
I say it just invis skip it.
So I actually like pulling it this week because it's not that it's not that bad if you can CC the champion, which is generally always true. I feel like if you can generally either have a DK steal the champion, which if you have a DK in your group, you wanna go here first because he gives a buff to everyone. Yeah, damage reduction buff to everyone.
And like damage done too.
Yeah. So he's great to have, but let's say you can't kill him. I'm actually about, clear the first part of this spot here, right? Just CC him. Like do a turn evil, or I saw a druid root him. Let all this stuff come to the front of this room where Varuth is, like the room that Varuth is in. Let them all come to the front, just LOS there, and then just blow them up. The champion generally runs in once you finish all them up, and then it's just really easy from there. That is it. In the 20 that we timed it with this week, that worked really well. But I think avoiding that's a good idea too.
Yeah. I guess it all depends. Like if you can, like if you have those CCs, like we don't really play with the DK much, but like if you can Ashen it or whatever, if everyone's ready to blow it up, yeah. I guess
Ashen's
it's a
not even
little
enough.
sketchy.
That's a very sketchy pull. Like you can't even
Yeah,
pull
I'm
one of
gonna
those mini
skip it for
bosses
this
on it.
route just because that's my preference.
Okay.
But that is good to know, like just as a strategy that you can do that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna change the route a little. So we'll pull. Do
The
you
other
like
thing it
pulling this
does,
guy first or no? There's less
um,
timing, right? You want
I
to get here
like.
in lust.
So when I have Ashen up, I actually like pulling the mini boss in that room before leaving it
Okay.
because it gives me a little bit more time to to use my Ashen. The other thing you could do, like, if you're running, I guess this is if you're running a paladin or maybe even like a Venthyr druid. But if you go into this room, clear this first pack, I would say if you're on a Venthyr druid, most likely their big CD is not going to be up for this first pack when you enter the room.
Oh, okay.
Probably
They could
maybe
pop it like mid Varuth and then pull this guy if it's still up. Is that what you're saying?
pull or just start this wing, like start the double pull here.
Hmm.
You know that I mean, I want to play with that timing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do it for this like discussion here because it's like I think I'd like to try it on like an 18 or a 19 and then see. But
Okay.
when you're running with an Ashen Paladin, generally speaking, you're gonna Ashen that first boss. You're gonna pull the first. We can go back up to the top and just talk about what we do.
Yeah.
But you pull the Bloodhorn in with the 3, and then you're gonna Ashen there. The next time your Ashen is generally up on a higher key is like that shade pool in the magic realm or the platform, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
that realm, right? And that's not like a good feeling use of Ashen. Although
No, it's
these
not.
packs this week, hella dangerous.
Definitely. So what I was thinking of doing is so for this one, basically like what I would do is pull these normally, and then when these start to cast, I would Typhoon this guy out and then in-cap roar them, and then we could beam them. And I think if you get beam on them before the inspired comes back, they'll still be beamed for the whole beam, if that makes sense. So like we can knock them, leg sweep, and then let the guy come back in, and like that's fine. You could still buy a little bit of time there. The other thing I was thinking,
you could root him as well.
that's
that
true.
Might be a good move.
True. What I was thinking is this guy, if we para or sap him, I don't know if he can be sapped. He could be sheeped. Orient. Yeah, well, we'll CC him somehow.
One thing Nar I would almost say is if let's say we want to use Ashen, right? Ashen is up right at the start of this. Pull 9 of those guys. So reduce your route here. If you have a big cooldown going into this, pull the 9 at the front. Bring that into the LOS area. Drop Ashen and your cooldowns, and then these 3, you just kind of like just do a cooldown cleanup pull. I think that's better when you're running with a Venthyr Paladin like me.
True.
So
what I was kind of thinking of maybe doing is CC this guy and then just pull him with the Guardian, because there's no kicks on this guy at all, and like this guy doesn't like one Shackled Soul's like not gonna make or break the pull. So we could just CC him. We have all our normal stuns that we do for this pull with 5, and then we just pull him with the Guardian.
What is the strengthening of Inspiring though? Like Inspire strengthens adds around it, gives him a damage buff.
Does it?
Doesn't it?
I don't think so. I think it just makes them not stunnable or CCable.
I thought it increased and made them.
If it did, that's news to me. I should know that shit.
We'll just cut that from this video. Let's see. Inspiring.
Yeah, the buff is called Inspired. It's 15-yard range, granting them immunity to crowd control effects, does not apply to self. Yeah, I don't think it gives them any damage buff. That would be insane.
I thought it was pretty slight. I thought it was like 10%.
Okay. I don't think so, but maybe.
But I guess if you can't kick stuff, that makes it worse.
Yeah, because what's dangerous about these is that, like, normally we run in here, I have Typhoon, I have in-cap roar, we have leg sweep, we have another knock, we have blinding light. Like, these casts basically don't do shit to us on a normal week, but when they're inspired, it's like, holy shit. Plus fortified, plus grievous, so like by the end of the pull, we're like dying. So that's the only thing I was thinking of. Because I don't know, maybe I'll try that out.
Those chains hurt. I mean, I think it's definitely worth trying. Yeah, I guess I don't. Doesn't matter to pull that inspiring onto bosses you can't kick, or even tormented bosses. Um, I think that's probably a good move. So
Just gonna kind of breeze through here, but this guy's inspired. I
right.
think we add one, just the non-inspired ones, I guess. We'll see. I'll come back and I'll add whatever we need to add to this.
I believe you have to cut that little pack that you have there
This one?
and pull. Yeah, I think in order to get the percentage, you have to pull the bottom pack there,
Okay.
and then the bottom pack on the next one, and then you're good.
Cool.
We should check the math, but with that first pack that's inspired, I'm a big fan of CCing that.
Yeah, for sure. Because these casts will truck.
Yeah, and with that guy, I've run it a couple times with my shaman and a couple times with my paladin. Just with the way cooldowns work, sometimes there's not a cooldown up, or it's like something weak like Devo, that's not like a huge like HPS cooldown. So this can be very, very scary, very overwhelming, especially if you don't have something. So trying to keep an eye on that, like, is huge.
And this guy, the big guy, doesn't have a kick, so basically CC this guy, kill the Soulbinder, and then you can pull him later on, like whenever you're stable.
Yeah, stun down that Soulbinder as much as you can. Don't let him get anything off, please.
Yeah, for sure. Bone Spear fucking trucks. Okay, cool. So moving on to kill this boss. Nothing really too special there. And then we go Plague Wing, which is a little bit spicy.
Yes, this is the scary part.
This wing sucks. These two inspires are very inconvenient.
Yeah, so
this guy has like no health though. We kind of, if we have CDs, we could kind of just kill him and do the big pull.
If you go and
risky.
Pull him, it's very difficult to get I think it's called the Sludge Spewer.
So yeah, the Sludge Spewers do the Wither, which is the important kick here.
The Sludge Spewers are the awful part.
Fucking
of
ugly.
This
ugly as hell. He's got a foot for a hand.
Yeah, he's just a hot mess.
Got this eyeball. Ugh.
Yeah. So, yeah, you don't want to mess with him. I am a big fan of CC in this wing.
Yeah, I think CC.
You have to CC that ad, or either that, or you're gonna have to heal through one of the Sludge Spewers. Like, yes, you can kill him, but one of the Sludge Spewers is generally gonna get off. I've never pulled that and said, let's blow this guy up, and not had a Sludge Spew thing go off. Whatever that ability is.
Yeah, that's true. It's a little sketchy. I guess we could para him and ring him off to the side or something.
Yeah.
And then do the pull and then kill him like at the end when this butcher's just the last one.
So,
but even then,
fun fact: if you run a shaman with interrupt, I like kind of doing like we do with the Goliath, where the shaman gets all the kicks on the Goliath, and everyone just worries about everything else. The same thing with his mega cast. Just have the shaman sit on that.
Can you solo it as a shaman?
Yeah, you can solo it.
Okay,
it's every,
that's
like,
good.
12 or.
The other thing is you actually don't have to kick it because it won't recast. You just have to stun it. So like I can typhoon it, in-cap roar it, and then kick it. Like there's like zero reason that cast should ever fucking be completed.
Yep.
But somehow it goes off a lot, so something to be aware of.
Unless you pull an inspiring in, right?
Right. And there's two of them here, which kind of sucks. Also, so this guy here, this meat shield, is actually the only thing that needs to be kicked in this whole pull, technically.
Correct. Yes.
And that's what usually slows it down.
It's not that bad if it goes off, honestly.
Yeah, it is a lot of stuff to go through, though. Like,
yeah.
I would almost rather have the shaman solo kick the meat shield. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but as long as like the kicks are important for this pull, we'll just leave it at that. Pull it slow if you're at all scared. Probably just pull it slow anyway, just for safety. This one sucks too.
Yeah.
You kind of have to CC.
There. So, the same deal. You CC one, you kill the Sludge Spewer, you pull the inspired one in. That's generally how you do that.
And
then we do a
fire guy.
That guy, and we do a skip on the other guy, and then we come down to this pool, and then this area is just a hot mess.
Yeah, this kind of sucks too.
So, same deal with the CC here. CC the inspired, pull back. Generally, I think what works. And then you're pulling, into one of those little elbows of the room.
True, yeah,
when you
like
first
just pull it
enter.
over here
Yeah, pull it
and
up
kill him
there.
later. And you could kill this guy with the gas bag because there's no kick there.
You can.
And then once
So
he's dead, you could chain. But
yeah,
you want to take this
the
wing slow.
this so that gas bag. Let's talk about that gas bag there. He is a asshole.
Yeah.
Unfortified.
True.
You need to have something up for him or blow him up very quickly. He is a complete asshole. So skip the gas bags, the 2 gas bags, that are on the side of the room. But this
Right.
one that you have to fight, gosh, he just trucks anyone that's close to him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Got to be super careful. I almost like, because if you're not pulling them with these, it's better to pull them like at this like fork in the road, I think, because it's like a
yeah,
little bit wider and you have a little bit more room. But
yeah,
either way, it's like dangerous. You want to CD him for sure.
yeah.
And
This is
then
the
this one's
time when
sludge speeder and kick
you're
him.
gonna spend a lot of time in this wing, probably more than any other wing, other than the platform and transporting and all that bullcrap. But
Mm-hmm.
it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it not to wipe, because if you wipe in this wing, if you wipe in this
It's very
dungeon,
punishing.
it's very
Yeah.
punishing. Yeah, it's like a 2-minute loss. So
Word.
when you're only timing a key by 2 minutes, you only have one of those if you're doing good damage. So
Right. Then we come over here. I guess double pull if you're feeling safe. But if you have time, like I wouldn't even risk it. Then I like to
yeah,
skip this. We'll skip this for the purposes of the video just because that's kind of
yeah,
what I want to do. And then let's see if the count upstairs isn't. Yes.
you're gonna
Okay.
add that in.
Yeah, so pull this after during the RP, I guess. I normally don't like to, but since there's inspired over here, like that just works with the route. Plus the RP time, it's like fine.
Yeah, I mean,
And what's dangerous about this? I mean, I guess you want to kick the ritualist,
right.
kinda, but like, I don't know. You'll probably live. And these guys kind of charge around too, so like you could. I don't know if they could be knocked. Like knock and done, whatever.
Yeah, you can CC too.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
too bad.
They do hit pretty hard, this pack with inspiring. You're only gonna see it. You're gonna look at it and you're gonna be like, oh, there's only 3 of them. Be ready, because you don't really need a cooldown on the boss as a healer. You could probably just get by.
Especially
with,
not like on pull too.
yeah, not on a 9 tyrannical. Yeah, especially not on pull, right? Because that first, 50
The first
seconds,
half is pretty chill.
it's like, are your DPS getting hit by the beam? No? Okay. Then you're getting grabbed by these little ads, and as long as you're killing them, you're fine, right? That's the only dangerous part. So
Cool.
maybe use a cooldown on I guess first and last pack, right?
Yeah. All right, I want to do Necrotic Wake. I think is gonna be one of the faster routes that I make. So like this guy's inspired. I guess I'm gonna do this normal pull and just try to kill him. I guess, right? Is there any benefit to CCing him?
I don't think so.
I feel like he dies fast enough. If I guess you did want to CC him, you could pull him with Varuth and LOS over here if you really, really wanted to, but I don't really care for that.
Yeah, if you have like a paladin in your group, like Ashen should take care of any of the damage that goes out. There's a couple things you might want to be aware of, but everyone's gonna have cooldowns running there, so. And on a fortified, you might lust that first pull instead of use it on the boss.
Oh, true.
So
that could make sense.
Less danger there.
I'm gonna leave this as not pulled, but I might add it later depending on the count. I'm not sure. Then we do the normal pull here. This guy is inspired, but I mean, really, that just means you can't kick his mages.
Correct. Yeah.
Kind of a bummer. But what you can do is kick him and walk him over here, and then you could CC if you really needed to.
Right.
But I feel like
that
a
would
lot
take
of the
a lot of
time. Yeah.
You're gonna have a Kyrian. You're gonna release the
Oh, true. There's orbs here, so you're
right?
pretty chilling, and that the orbs heal as well, so it's like kind of carries the Grievous stacks a little bit.
Kind of safe, yeah.
I'm gonna skip this because this fight lasts a long time, and especially with Grievous on Fortified, like it's a bad combo.
I don't like
These
that,
ones,
pulling that anytime on Fortified.
I know you don't, but it's
yeah,
such big
I know
percent.
you do, but
'Cause if I have Incarn and an orb and I pull it with these guys, like that pull is like fucking 12% of the dungeon or something crazy.
Would you rather pull that pull or something in the first room? I'd rather pull something in the first room. It's a lot more.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a lot safer, and then there's trash in this room that you just have to kill. You can't get around it, or you got to work really hard to get around it. So just you know.
These two, I started walking these guys. Normally, I would aim them over here. What I started to do is aiming them this way and like backpedaling towards this pole.
Yeah.
That way, like if someone has a CD rolling, like we could just go right into the pole. The only dangerous part is that they fear you away from them. So if the kick goes through, I get feared into this pack or this mob, which is dangerous. But usually we're pretty good on the kick, so we're fine. This pack here is inspired as well, which kind of is shitty.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about that other than just have a cooldown ready.
Yeah.
You can even on fortified you can heal through the volleys. I think they're called frostbolt volleys of the one ad. But it's not ideal. It's just a bad time. So.
Yeah, these like I see. I mean, obviously, like I think most of our friends know this by now, but I don't know if anyone's watching this. It's like not super familiar. Like the necromancer is the only target that matters. The other ones you want to stun and kick if you can, but like the pull ends when the necromancer dies. So like if you're combusting, like just single target combust. Don't pad here. This is like kind of a dangerous pull, so just use everything ethically, I guess. Then pull Sug and then pick up the orbs.
Yes.
And then I like this giant pull.
Yeah.
Because nothing's too dangerous.
No.
Really, it's just the Marauder frontal you want to watch.
Yep.
Especially as a tank. Like, because I run in here, I was stampeding Roar, and I just, like, collect everything. And usually, like, I'll clip someone with the frontal. I'm trying to get better at that. But, like, try to point them this way, maybe. The orbs make this pull really free. These guys just need to be, like, stunned. If you can stun the Bone Flay, just puts a bleed on the tank. Reduces health by 15%. That's actually pretty toxic. But it can be stunned. And then they'll, like, recast it later. But good. Like, I try to in-cap Roar that. We could, like, Blinding Light, Hodge, Knock, whatever. Then come over here. And I think we need a little bit more count. I'm going to add that once the route's done. But Amarth's pretty standard. I was talking to Dran. Like, I think I want to start doing that pull where you pull, like, this pack, and this pack with the orb. And I'll just try to save Incarn. And we'll just blow this pack up. It's like, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on Necrotic Wake because I feel like it's so free that, like, taking even, like, at small risk is, like, not worth it because it's, like, impossible to not time Necrotic Wake unless, like, your computer, like, catches fire halfway through the run or something.
Yes.
Like, as long as you're just, like, playing fine and, like, no one, like, has to go get their door during the, like, it's really just, like, IRL shit is the only thing that could truck your Necrotic Wake. I don't know.
Right.
But at the same time, it's, like, free time to use the orb and, like, big value.
I know a lot of people like their Necrotic Wakes to +2 them.
Yeah,
right?
That's the other thing.
So,
if you're going for that +2, yeah.
I mean, like, if you scuff one pull, right, you're still gonna time it.
That's true.
But if the pull works, I'm all for, like, one give it a shot pull, except in, like, mists, right, or maybe theater, where the timer's really tight. Like, I'm all for, like, yeah, let's try a crazy pull. We're not gonna +3 it, but we could lock in our +2 a lot easier, especially in fortified.
So these guys, I was kind of didn't want to pull with the boss because it's inspired and you can't stun the ads that the boss pukes. But it is just a blight bag, so it's like you can kind of just kill it pretty quick. I guess I would try to tag it like while the ads have just been killed, or just fucking do it after. It's like pretty free. But what I kind of want to do is kill this pack normal, get the orbs, and then come up here and tag the boss onto the platform with the orbs and kill this. Because we're kind of like...
Might be able to pull the blight bag pack, kill the inspired, and then pull it into that pack up top. Like, that might be your move after the boss.
Yeah.
It's just blow up the blight bag and then pull it all together. And then it's,
true.
You know, still pretty easy.
Right. Alright, so that gives us good %. Moving along. Taking longer than I thought. We don't necessarily have to go through all of them, but Spires is pretty straightforward, I guess. I think what I want to do is pull this like normal, but CC this guy, and then just like kill him on the way up, maybe. Because I feel like, I don't know. Or, I don't know. I feel like not pulling a giant pull inspires first pull, like with Lust on Fortified, is kind of a waste of time.
It-
Like if
it
you
feels
pull
bad.
small first
Yeah.
inspires, like kind of just sets the tone that like the fucking run's gonna take forever. But
Yeah.
I guess this will vary by groups like and key level, like whatever you're comfortable with.
I think Fortified's one of those keys that's a lot harder on Fortified than it is on Tyrannical.
Spires, you mean?
Yeah, Spires.
Word.
Like, Fortified is I think, a lot more challenging.
I think this one
So,
we do this group first. We CC this guy, and we
yeah,
pull it
that's a
with
must.
Varuth. And because this guy, what does he do? He just has that weapon and the doctrine. So there's one kick in the pole.
I don't like
Which
pulling
everyone has
anything with
kicks.
Varuth.
He's only gonna do tank damage, and he drops this weapon that will buff. Like, if we dispel it, then Rosen picks up a weapon, and then Varuth dies faster. So it's actually like a damage buff to killing Varuth. I think that's why people used to CC it during Pride, because they would use that like weapon.
Right.
Because the next 5 attacks within 30 seconds inflict additional arcane damage. I don't know if that's the same buff it gives you. I want to say it gives you 1, but I don't play melee, so I don't know. But
Yeah,
it drops that
Varuth-
weapon on the ground, and then people pick it up.
Varuth with that healing reduction will make any of those casts going off just way more impactful.
That's
than
true.
If you just pull it
Yeah, I guess you
separately.
could just kill him separately. But what he does one cast, then it's a heal. Otherwise, he just punches the tank, I think.
No, that's the Mender. That's the one that's fortified.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other guys still cast. So, right? The other guys cast.
Oh, yeah, these guys fucking truck. Like, you can't not...
So
You have to
whereas
CC this guy.
Whereas a heal, no. But what I'm saying is with Varuth out, whereas a healer, if you miss any of those kicks, you might bring a DPS down to like 40% health, and if they hit the guy that has the circle that doesn't have the red circle that Varuth sends out.
Oh, no, I'm not saying pull Varuth with any trash. I'm saying pull him with the one inspired.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have
yeah.
missed. I
No,
thought you
no,
were
no
pulling
worries.
Varuth with everything, and I'm just like, no, please don't.
Yeah, no, never.
What do you
Never pull
expect me to
Varuth
do,
with
Nar?
anything. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, the only thing this bender does is one kick, which everyone in the game will have their kick because Varuth doesn't have a kick,
Yep.
and then punches the tank, which is, like, fine.
Yep.
So that won't complicate the Varuth pull at all. And then this one, I like lining in that corner, like, pretty standard nowadays, I guess.
Yep.
This pull's pretty big. You don't fucking tank them for more than, like, the 4 seconds on pull to get threat.
Yeah.
This
really
area
tight,
sucks.
Really tight with them.
Honestly, I think for this one, if there's big CDs, I think we CC this guy and do the big pull.
Yeah.
But depending on the CDs, like, we could just do it separate. But I hate not pulling this big, and obviously you can't pull an inspired Ether Diver into these Goliaths.
Probably not.
Yeah. This one here, though, I think either we do this separate or you do double and you spear. Like, these all, like, if you do double and you spear it and kill this guy like instantly, then yeah. But I'd actually almost rather spear this.
I like to spear that front pack.
Yeah.
Before the
And
second boss.
MDT doesn't know which one's inspired either. I haven't done it yet, so I'm not sure. But yeah, and then Sog if you want, I guess.
Is there a Mender in that pack? It might be the Mender, if there is one. I'm pretty sure there's a Mender on the outside right.
No, Ether Diver, Squad Leader, Inquisitor, Praetor, and Champion.
I think it might be
Good
the
variety.
I think it
I feel
might
like
be
it's
one
the
of
Ether
bigger
Diver.
mobs.
Oh
Think
yeah.
so?
I
think it
don't
might be
know.
one of the
We'll
bigger
find out, I
mobs.
guess.
Yeah.
So pull that. Definitely pull these separate. Unless, like, I mean, there's really no reason to pull this with anything because they both do AoE damage to the group, like pulsing.
Yeah.
Unless
Not a
your
fan.
healer is like, hey, I have Ashen, we're gonna kill the Hellion, but like that's a
Right.
healer call. I wouldn't like put that on them. This pull, like, pretty much on any week is a healer call, like whether or not you double it or not. Then
Yeah.
sneak up here. Honestly, like maybe Oros if you don't trust your group, but like I think skipping inspired or not inspired, tormented mobs and spires is like pretty good idea.
Kind
least
of a
one.
must.
Yeah.
I think Zog
and
is
you could
usually
skip
must
him, and
kill.
then if you're here and you have like infinite time, you could always just go back and pull him like real quick if you're like
Right.
actually worried. But I think skipping him for now and then having the option is better than like pulling them and missing time by like 40 seconds or some shit.
Right.
And
It
then
also
go
kind
up.
of depends what kind of speed people you have in your group. Like
True.
if you have a pally that can, you know, freedom themselves and get 2 orbs or something like that on their own, that might change your strat. But on fortified, the boss isn't that like as bad as it is on tyrannical, the last boss there. So, I'm not a fan of doubling these ever.
Yeah, neither am I really. I don't know.
People like to.
It's like a desperate thing that always ends terribly.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm sure you could do it, but like I'm not comfortable with it, and I imagine like most people aren't unless you're like a super pro player, in which case you're like not watching my video for routes. So gonna leave that as it is. Separate pulls seems pretty good. We did theater, we did necrotic, we did spires. Miss, you can't really like make a route for.
Yeah.
So I don't even think I want to. I mean, the only thing I'd say is I liked when we skipped this recently. Yep. What is it? This villager. So like normally people come in, you open the gate, you pull these guys, which like bleed the fuck out of your group on Grievous is gonna truck. And then you pull this, which is inspired. Yeah, basically fuck this group. I'm not trying to pull this group this week at all. So we invis.
So let me
come
tell you,
over
I ran a 20 on the paladin today. And we did that first pull with the 5 bleedy ads.
Someone's challenging me to a duel? What the
I think you should do it. Just let them win. Just say accept.
I'll just accept and keep the thing open.
See what happens. So they pulled the 5 bleedy dudes and the inspired together, which was fine because they had Ashen and we lived through it. But then they pulled the next group, the inspired group.
Wait, this pack or like the normal next? Okay, this you can't fucking do.
So
this is like Omega banned.
Disclaimer: never run into this pack unless it's someone else's idea as a tank, right? Because if you think you're gonna tank all this stuff, I did DK that was geared to the gills and lasted about 2 seconds. I was still running over, being like, no, wait, like, no, don't do it, and then dead, and then key over, right?
Oh yeah, an early wipe and miss is like
no one
very sad.
Like,
I feel like most failed miss happens like within 5 minutes of entering, and it's like right here, like always.
And that's exactly what happened. And then the tank ran back in, tried to do the exact same pull, and then their para that they had on the one guy broke, and then pulled that group in, and then everyone was just like cursing, and it was just not a good time. So the moral of this long story: always CC this pack. Always,
my screen is flashing red. I'm being killed.
Oh no.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I would say just kill these 3. Kill him. I wouldn't even want to pull him with Ruth because he does that soul split.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess take this slow.
You could stun him. You could probably stun him down. You still want to kill him first.
That's true.
Though.
I guess just make sure the tank gets a dispel like instantly, and like use a big defensive or something. Because this will just kind of hurt the tank a little, and then Ruth is like. Ruth, so
might be something where you're just going to get your powers and killing them.
You could also do that thing where you fight in here, and you pick up the purple mushroom for the full heal, and then get the green one later. But we haven't really done that. You want to talk about these bow breakers?
Just not letting them go off. So when they hit 50%, they're gonna do this trucking ability. So they're gonna put this little tree out throughout their life, right? They're gonna put a tree under people. You just gotta constantly move, and that's fine and dandy. But at 50%, they're gonna start doing this pulsing AOE for a while. Their only danger of these 2, in my opinion, is that ability is just not killing them evenly, right? If they both hit 50% at the same time.
So always like mark one with a skull. Like usually the healer will, because they're like in desperate, like, hey, don't do this.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Please
so do one at a time, and use like altar or big defensives there.
And you can heal through it, like you could. Especially, like, if I'm talking about Pally, right? You could Ashen through that. That would be no problem. But then you're not going to have Ashen for the boss.
Yeah, exactly.
And, healers have to pump into the boss this week. You can, even on a 20, one phase the boss with the right group. So you still want to try to do that the best you can.
Yeah, it's
So,
pretty nice on fortified. Feels good.
Yeah, it does feel good.
These ones, I mean, depending if you have, I mean, this is kind of where the route ends for mists, but like,
Yeah.
you could pull through the walls here if you have someone with like a pet. These guys at the end, I do want to look at what's inspired here because this gets kind of toxic.
This does get very toxic. Okay, so the top part with the
Oh my god, there's a surprise inspired pat too.
Yes. Okay. So I've run this week and wiped this part. Like we've had a nice run, and we get through, and then we hit this part. And
Yo, hold on. There's like a battle happening on top of me. I need to get away from this sound. Okay. Gonna fly up here, land on this little pedestal thing.
Like a little crow up there.
Gonna slash sit so he lands all cute. Okay.
Oh my
Back to the
goodness.
thing.
All right. So the first part, whatever, with the tormented there. So I guess my preferred way to do this is take this right pack here, right, and then blow up the inspired as quickly as you can and kite it over, right, and then pull with this pack. But people have to know they have to kill that guy. That little slug will last about like 3 seconds, even on fortified. But you have to blow that up. The other thing is you have to pull back. Get in the habit, if you're a mage or something like that, or a druid, of sheeping or doing something
to this pad here.
This group. Yeah, para. There's a bunch of things you could do, but that group, if that pat comes in this pool, you're dead. You're done. It's over.
Yeah, for sure. And it puts out that like poison, and it leaps around, so it's hard to like cleave. It's just like fucking annoying as hell. Like so, CC this, even if like if you're just like pugging or whatever, like even if no one asks, just CC it, and if they want it, they'll tag it. But like, you basically do everything you can to like never pull this pack, and then if you get it, like whatever you tried. But like, it's not even worth. What is it, 3% for both of them?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
not worth.
I don't want any part of that this week.
Yeah.
I would just say skip that. Even in general, like some healers can't dispel that. So my next thing here is kill the 4 by themselves. It sucks. It's gonna really hurt. But just kill the 4 by themselves. Then pull the Gorger, kill the Gorger, and then pull in everything else.
My thought would be root this guy and pull him with this pack. But do whatever you want. If you have enough time, take it slow. Because this is where, if your key's going great, it's easy to get like greedy and want to big pull this, and it just like fucks up your team. Because the other thing is like, and maybe you do want to do this separately, because like these guys, they put out these swirlies and like these dots on people, but the swirlies they put on the ground can be stunned, and then like you don't have to move. So anytime, like if you have a free stun on this pull, just send your stun when you see those swirlies being cast, because like say you can stun 20% of them, like that just cuts down the risk of like your rogue getting hit by something randomly. Like just send your stuns here, because there's nothing to kick really. Like the danger is those swirlies and the dots they put on people. I mean, you could just move, but like I just try to roar, I try to knock, like do whatever you can.
The swirlies also may just knock you back on a tyrannical key, but on a fortified key, they're probably gonna kill you.
True.
So
then boss, whatever, if you don't have CDs, you could do trash, whatever, just feel out your team, see what you want to do. And then depending on how much count you need, pull these guys, these reavers you kind of don't want to do ever. So pull that, and then like go over here and pull this if you want, or pull these. All of them have a staghorn. Just real quick, the staghorns have 2 kicks required. So just communicate. Like I always say, like I'll get first, and then I'll call by name someone to do it. Don't just like hope that someone's gonna kick. If you have like a kick tracker, obviously, if you're like a DPS, I would save your kick and see if someone like. Save it to like the last second, like cut it kind of close but not super close, and like let someone else kick first, and that way you know like, okay, I have the second kick. And then like once you have that rhythm set up, like you're usually pretty fine. But like sometimes what could happen is everyone kicks on the first one, or everyone holds, and then something bad happens.
Right.
But it has to be kicked, can't be stunned.
The only other thing with mists that you want to talk about with the route is lust.
True.
And that fortified, you can generally get 3 lusts in. But
well, I guess the awkward part is like you need, or you don't. I guess you
need
need to.
lust.
You want to lust this boss, like no matter
Yeah.
what. So
So
the
that
faster
really affects what you can do in the front part of that dungeon, right?
Mhm.
And then the question
That's also
is,
why
do you
skipping is
lust the
good.
second boss, right?
Yeah.
That does make skipping much better. Like, do you lust the second boss? My opinion is, like, if you're at, like,
I think if it's up, send it. And if it's like, say you get to the last boss and you have 2 minutes, like just pull trash and then like lust during the fight, like at like 60% if it comes back or
if you have
something.
any question about not having a lust, I'd say don't send it on the second boss because the value isn't going to be
Okay.
that good.
That's true.
That's my philosophy with Mists. Like, if
That
you're
makes
11
sense.
minutes and you're pulling the second boss and lust is up, well, you're probably not gonna have a great key. But I would not send it at that point because then you're just not gonna have
That's
it. That's
true. Because a lot of it gets wasted on like trying to figure out the maze.
Yeah, there's a lot of
it's not good
DPS
value
in that fight.
Yeah, that one sucks. The other thing is that fight, at least it's not tyrannical, but like it does that AoE damage to the whole group during that like image phase. So like if you have big damage and you could do it on the image and then like still have big damage on the boss immediately following that, like that's a good strategy. Also use defensives or like health pots. Like keep yourself above 90 as long as you can, because if that phase goes on too long and everyone's at like 50% health with 3 stacks of Grievous, like digging out of that's going to be really hard for the healer. And this, I feel like a lot of people underestimate this boss.
Yeah.
Like healing that is actually, you kind of have to have like a strategy for your CDs lined up. At least I do. Like when I heal my druid, I'm like, all right, I'll flourish this one. Like we're getting close to 70%. Like let me start ramping. You know, you want to have like a bit of a plan.
Yeah, on my shaman, I'm trying to feed into like the cloudburst totem very early in those pulls and trying to dance with something else. So yeah, very underestimated healing fight. Everyone thinks that fight's just easy to heal, but just on Grievous. That fight is just like, depending on the effects, like Grievous, explosive. There's
explosive
like
is so bad there, yeah.
It's just a bad. It's a well-designed fight, but it's just like not fun some weeks, you know.
Right.
So.
For sure. Okay, I think we're pretty good on Mist so far. What do we have left? We'll do Plaguefall really fast, and then we'll end on Halls. Plaguefall, I think my route doesn't change a lot. It's just typical, like, pull the Inspiring, like, deal with Inspiring the way that you have to deal with Inspiring. But I'm just gonna, if you want to talk about Plague, I'm just gonna make my route, like, while we're talking about it. But what's, like, as a healer, what's, like, the big Plaguefall pains for you?
So one of my favorite things to do in Plaguefall is to take this red slime and pull it back to the first boss. It's not a must. It's not a must on fortified weeks. It's certainly nice, but it makes that first boss just a completely trivialized. So you know, you come in, you do, you know, if I'm on my paladin, I'm coming in, I'm probably gonna drop Ashen on the first mini boss there, and then we're gonna go clear some trash on a fortified week, and then we're gonna bring that little red block. You can bring it to the island or to the corner, so where this bottom blue dude is.
Yeah.
Or right there. I like pulling it to where the blue dude is.
I haven't been doing the island recently.
Yeah.
Especially if we have like Ashen. Sometimes it's like a weird overlap with Ashen, where like the ad will spawn in it. But you want to be like in the corner, as you know, kind of in the corner, so that the spawns, like that far ads will spawn here. If you tank them in the middle of the room, sometimes 2 small ads are here, one's there, and then the big ad's here, and it becomes like a huge clusterfuck.
Right.
Like I like tank them in this corner because the big ad will be right here, and you'll have like freezing trap or whatever, banish, like whatever your CC is for the big one, and then you have like 15-20 seconds, maybe that's longer than it really is, but you have some travel time where it comes in, and then like you mass root or kill them if you're killing them. But definitely like have a reason to tank him where you're tanking him, and kind of like understand why, I guess. Yeah. But this red pool, even if you don't have a Necrolord, is pretty sick. It's like free. It's free haste. So like, if you kill him over here and you walk away, you're leaving a buff on the table for no reason, which is fine if it's an easy key. But if it's like challenging at all, like there's no reason to give that up.
So it's
my
important to know
opinion.
that there's a red damage buff that sits on the ground, and when the Necrolord fleshcrafts, it pulls the buff off. So when you're pulling that, you want to be able to stand in the red buff, and then like that's Ashen's time to shine.
For
Like
sure, because you
the
could
amount
ignore
of
the
damage.
healing.
Yep, and
So
and
yeah,
you'll be
yeah,
able
go
to
ahead.
do it on the second boss and the fourth boss if you really want. Tyrannical, it's a must, I think, to do this.
Yeah, for sure.
In Fortified, it's just so nice to just trivialize any bosses on a 20 that you could do, the better, and you can really essentially trivialize probably 2 of the 4 bosses in here with those red slimes. So
Definitely don't
all
want to
for
leave it
that.
on the table for no reason.
Yeah, if you're a resto shaman, that's the other healer I play. Just a healing rain. Like you don't normally healing rain in a 5-man, but especially a healing tide totem buffed healing rain, it is delightful on those pulls. So those are 2 little things. Just make sure you have something constantly running on everyone. If you're a druid, hot up your group. If you're a disc priest, get a long atonement or something like that. Like think about ways to prevent that damage from going through. The one thing about the first boss before we get off of it, the stomp will knock you into the green stuff. So you kind of want to try to help your healer out to get knocked where there isn't slime the most, the best you can. So that's the one reason I don't like the island, because if you're on the island, wherever he stomps, you are going to get in
Yeah, well, you'll get knocked
lava
away from him.
or
So
slime
you always
lava.
want to like plan that out to not get knocked like towards this ad, I guess, if you didn't pull it. But also mages can alter well, depending on how you want to use your defensives, but like mage can ice block at the last second for the first one and then cold snap, so their ice blocks back in 30 seconds, and then
Yep.
they alter the second one and then they ice block the third one. So you don't actually have to get hit, and then you stay in the red slime for like the full duration.
Yep.
But especially with Grievous, if you're not standing in Ashen, or depending on how your healer is, like you don't want to greed that haste debuff to the point where your healer can't get you. You know what I mean? Like if you have 4 stacks of Grievous and you're at like 40% health, like get the fuck out of that pool, because it's not worth the damage. Unless he's at like 2% health, and like you're fine, but like don't get too greedy. Like it's not guaranteed that you live, but definitely something to be aware of.
Yep.
And yeah, the knock, definitely good to be aware of that. This area over here is kind of fucking annoying on Inspired, because there's one here and one here. When I did it yesterday, it was only a 16, but we did this solo because we had so much time. I don't know what the best strategy is here. I guess, like, at least you can kick the sniper.
That's before third boss, right?
Yeah.
I like just pulling this slow. We ran this on a 20 this week, and we pulled the one mob by himself, and we still had 5 minutes at the end of the key.
Word. Okay.
Left over. So there's so much time in this key that the worst thing you can do is pull too much there and wipe your key.
I'm missing 0.7%? What did I not?
A lot of times you gotta pull the guy right before the mini boss. So one thing that you could do, instead of pulling that single, go down to the third boss. Go down to the third boss. Instead of pulling that
This tentacle
third guy,
here?
pull it with that. And I think that might work to get your percentage. Is that
Oh,
enough percent?
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
actually,
pull that
you
little guy onto the
could
tentacle.
do this and then cancel maybe these 2. And that would give a count. Yeah, I guess you could play with that a little bit. I feel like I usually do this route, and I don't need that. Maybe we accidentally pull the Plague Rock or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty good. I guess just take it slow towards the end. Play clean. Plaguefall should be pretty good. It's really, like, Fortified Plaguefall is not too bad, in my experience.
Plaguefall is just not that bad in general.
Yeah. Alright, so let's do halls real quick. I like saving halls for last. It is my favorite. What I've been doing the last few times I've ran it, like with pugs and stuff, and on my Horde tune, is we always CC this guy and don't pull the Gargans. Because what I did with our group is I CC'd him, but I would Moonfire the Gargans. But just save this. Go over here. Pull all this. If you can handle it, you could pull these guys too, but you don't have to. Then pull You could pull these guys like when you're free. So like say everything's dead and it's like the shard and these guys, then you could tag that into the pull. But like use your discretion, I guess. And then what I did
Right.
is immediately after that, because everyone spent cooldowns and lust, is I pull these guys. And that takes the only inspired mob out of this big pull area. And then that's already gone. Then we can skip these two, which I normally pull first. It's a little different than my normal route. And then we come over here, do this, which is pretty standard. Do this. Doesn't have to be all together, but
Can we
just
talk
for
about
count.
Blizzard when they put these inspiring mobs? They put none of them over here.
yeah, they put 2 in the area that no one has ever even ventured into.
Right. Like no one's been there. You know,
Yeah.
except on a Mythic 0.
On like M0s, you used to jump down and like body pull shit on
So
accident
it's
or
like
whatever.
it like this is the one part of like Blizzard and Keys where it's just like this is just bad design because it's like. we'll
Hey
just-
now, keep them over
Mo-
there. It's fine.
Yeah, I know, but like it's just like there's so many inspireds down here, and then
Yeah.
you know you have to deal with them a little bit. But this is one key where it's just like, did you forget about inspiring when you were putting them out? But
Right. So then I would, depending on the tank you're playing with, obviously, but this is like, I like to do this pull, and then like you can move
That-
these around as you need. Like if no one has CDs, pull Sog. If you have
Right.
CDs, do this big pull. If you don't
Yeah.
want to do the big pull, split it up. Whatever. Like there's so much freedom in halls. I love it. Do whatever the hell you want. The only thing that you do want to do is kill the shards before you do these trash pulls, just because there's that travel time of like activating the boss that you want to get started.
right.
But you know, not a huge deal. Now we're over by like 2%, so we could lose.
Could we lose that little?
We could lose a groundskeeper pack.
Yeah.
Maybe lose this one. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Or lose the one on the shard up there. I would say that's probably.
Okay.
Well, depends how mobile your tank is.
Yeah, like if I have Incarn rolling up to this pull, I'm pulling those guys. But if I don't, like, fuck that, I'm not. I'll pull them
Right.
with Varuth if I have to. Because usually I'm okay, or like the tank's okay on Varuth. Like you could pull these, but whatever you're comfortable with, fine. I like the groundskeepers because you can kind of just be like, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 packs of groundskeepers. Pull them whenever you're comfortable, and that's fine. Like if you want to do something like this, where you do Varuth with these groundskeepers, like sometimes I have Incarn, I just want to spend it. I'll do 8 groundskeepers and Varuth. Then I'll do like 20k DPS or something as a tank, and like the only thing they do is punch the tank, so like that's fine. But obviously then we're over count. What I like to do is do these before this pack in the middle. Tag this, I call it the secret bird. You can moonfire it. If you have a mage, they can interrupt it. Anything with like a long range attack will like aggro this guy. As long as it's before you kill Halkias, these mobs aren't active, but the bird is. If you try to do it after Halkias, you'll aggro these. I learned that the hard way. So pull this onto this middle pack. Then when the middle pack is dead, pull these 2 birds onto the boss. How I like to do that.
And that's huge because some people don't even know about those extra birds.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
And you do the double tame, which you just like spam the Venthyr button.
Yeah. So when
You
they're
know.
both in range, you just you're gonna have to click the Venthyr button twice. But you're gonna have to just keep clicking it, and it'll be fine. Hero on the first boss. Stop doing it, people. I don't know.
Yeah, don't fucking press hero ever on the first boss.
I don't
Hero the first
understand.
pull and then hold it, because and that's part of the value of these 2 birds is like those 2 birds will do so much damage to the first boss that like if you lust, it's almost overkill, and it's not having lust on the second boss is like certain death on Tyrannical if it's like a high key
Right.
at all, or like high
Yeah.
for your group. I guess the other something I also want to say is like high keys is different for everyone. Like some people are like, oh well, that's not a high key, but it's like whatever a high key is for your group is what I mean by high key. Like for us, like a 21 is a high key. Like for some people, a 28 is a high key, and for some people, a 12 is a high key. So whatever that means, fine. Then this boss, not having a decurse kind of sucks on this boss. Oh, obviously invis, skip this. Pretty standard now.
Yeah, it's the one part where like human racial will take that off.
True. Kyrian
Um,
file.
Kyrian file,
Dwarf
Bop,
racial.
bubble.
Think.
It
Yeah.
is a magic drop. When he drops down, it's not physical. So if you bop, you do still have to get out, just as a fair
Oh,
warning
okay.
to people. Didn't know that. Stood in
So
it.
you can cloak it, but not evasion it, is
Uh,
what you're saying?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah. So just be aware of that.
This
The rest
pull,
of
I did this
dungeons,
double pull on the
easy.
18 that I did earlier, but I don't know if I do it on like a 20 something. Because there's 2
Yeah.
inspired and it's spicy. Like I was greeting the +2. I also skipped the frost guy. But if it was like, I don't know, something where the timer's tight and like well, not that the timer's tight, but that there's no room for like error, I would just separate pull these. You don't really have to CC. I guess just kill them or knock them or whatever you're comfortable with. I like pulling all of this with Incarn, but that's just me. Oros, if you have time, you might as well. And what I like to do is go past this, pull the boss, and then if you need time for Lust to come back, pull the mini boss. Because you might as well. Like if you have enough time where like you could Lust and kill him, then you know.
Get your cooldowns back.
Yeah, exactly. Then this boss room, everyone should know by now, but like kill the ones that don't move.
Yeah. Please.
That's just, I say that like even in our group where like I've said it 1,000 times, like just as a reminder, kill the ones that don't move. The ones that move are padding damage. Just run from them, kite them, bring them to the tank. Kill the ones that don't move.
Heal them. Even in a 20 fortified, they don't hit that hard. Let the healer just heal you through them. Kill the ones that don't activate, because then that makes the fight go by quicker.
Yeah, because he heals off of the ones that don't move. So they're like neutral mobs. If you have like default nameplates, they'll be like yellow or whatever. If you use my plater, they're like, I think purple. There's like different. But if you look and all the mobs are moving, switch to single target on the boss. And just let like someone cleave the ads down or whatever. Kick the guy as much as you can. He's the only kick in the whole room. Doesn't hurt too bad, but like just be nice. Then the last boss. Pretty much it. Last boss is, I don't know. I guess we could talk about double soaking. Which like if you're going to soak, you should double soak. Is like my motto on that, because you can only get 1 debuff at a time. So either the healer's healing through 4 or he's healing through 2. Or if the mage ice blocks and double soaks, then he's healing through 1. Like the tank should always double soak. The only time you don't is on storming, when you can get knocked. You want to be careful that you don't get knocked out of melee and then the beams go out. But you just have like backup soaks standing by the statues. Or quaking can be a little sketchy. But even then it's like, you have big defensives up, like you can get quaked and still live it.
Yeah, bubble, ice block, all that stuff.
Like if you have more than enough time to time the key, it's worth sitting in your ice block for the full duration and losing damage, and then your healer doesn't have to put any heals on you.
Yep.
Like, and the only time you don't want to do that is say like you're in your like Venthyr Boomy CDs or something, like, well, not that they have anything like AFK, but like maybe Icy Veins or like Combustion, like I guess staying in DPS, but like if you're gonna time the key whether or not you lose the damage, just soak it and like be a friend, you know?
Yeah, monks usually do a good job double soaking 1.
Yeah, like we could cloak. You could like alter time it too.
Yeah,
bubble.
That's spicy. I'd say if you're a mage, ice block.
True, yeah. Better.
If you're a pally, bop 1.
Okay, so looking...
Or divine shield 1.
Real quick. Want to do... What tanks do you think are specifically strong? Sorry, I'm coughing. I was thinking maybe Druid and Monk, because they both have like a really easy way to CC a mob. But you can get that value from like another member of the group, so it doesn't really matter as much.
Yeah.
Paralyze and Ring is so huge this week.
Yeah.
Like Mistweaver Monk is big value. Anything, I mean, as long as you have like 1 or 2 ways, preferably 2, to like CC mobs, then you're good. Like, I don't know, I think monks are particularly strong this week, but usually it's like a Windwalker that you'd have, I guess. And then what DPS do you think might stand out as like underdogs of the week, I guess?
So I think Druid's on the tank. are probably my favorite to heal this week, just because of the sheer tankiness of
Yeah,
what
their
they can
damage
do
is
in
very
any card.
like even across the board. They're not like spiking.
Yep.
You can kind of like keep the group alive and then like dump some big heals on the druid if you need, but they're very steady. I think DK is kind of toxic to heal this week, maybe because like
DH is
DH
toxic
can be
to
hard.
heal this week. I think DHs are very much like the tank that can do the least with Grievous happening at the same time. Like Grievous will just like take them down and
True.
just make them a lot squishier than they normally are. So I would
Word.
avoid them, maybe with the exception of Halls if they're really good at kiting. But in terms of DPS,
I'll be back like 1 sec if you want to keep talking. Sorry.
okay,
Like 1 minute.
That's fine. Monks are great always. I feel like that's just season 2 of keys. Frost mages are good. I think it's a pretty normal DPS set. I will say it's nice. Anything that has defensives like a frost mage, where they can ice block twice, is just like huge this week with Grievous. So that's I think what I'd say. I have seen a couple warlocks really pump this week. I don't know why. I can't make any sense of it, but it seems like a pretty good week for warlocks. Maybe just because there's not anything to do in range other than damage. So.
All right, sorry, I'm back.
It's all good. My DPS was like the same as always. I feel like like prio damage is huge, but like I think everyone has prio damage. So trust your good players.
Word. So more about player than like class. Yeah, as long as you have like 1 or 2 ways to DC stuff, you're probably fine. Yeah. Cool. All right. I guess that's it. Yeah, I had on my list the affixes. How hard do we? Or yeah, overall, like how hard do you think this week is? It's not like a push week, but
Like
it's not like an AFK week either.
an S through an F scale.
Sure.
So if S is like the hardest week, I'd say this is. It depends. This is a great week for Discord. I think this is probably like if you ever wanted like.
That's a good point.
If you ever made an S through an F scale for Discord, this would be an S week for having Discord. Just because like so much can happen, and when you can communicate through it, it's just like it's a must. When you have 5 players that aren't communicating live, and they're just all running around, it's
when you can like call CCs out and be like, "Yo, don't hit that fucking mob."
Yeah, you can call interrupts, you can call things like that, things like that. It's huge. So
sure.
I'd say it's a solid A in terms of difficulty this week.
Okay.
In Pugs, I'd say in an organized group, I think it's like a regular kind of week. I think it's like a B or a C.
And then what role do you think has the most pressure? I mean, it seems like a big healer week because Grievous, obviously.
I think tanks. Tanks
and healers.
Tanks have a huge requirement because they gotta run the inspiring, right? They gotta like the group is always looking at them being like, oh well, you have to tell me what you want to pull instead of like just like going up and ceasing and inspiring. So I think Pug tanking this week doesn't sound a lot of fun because like if you pull anything wrong, you're dead and it's your fault. And if you CC wrong, it's your fault.
Sure.
And low key, Fortified Grievous low key trucks tanks. And I feel like as a healer, I'm looking at my tank chilling at 80%, and they're slowly getting like 4 or 5 stacks of Grievous, and I'm worrying about other people. And then that Grievous, I don't expect that to be hitting that hard. Where I just need to clean that. So if you're a healer, anything you can do to keep Grievous off your tank is huge this week because it's low key.
Yeah, and as a tank, like Because a lot of the time, like, I'll play, like, when I play Druid is, like, I'll want to, like, let myself get to, like, 65 or 60,
Yeah.
like, before I press regen, just so I don't, like, overheal with it. Because a lot of the time, like, I'll say I get to, like, 60, and then you're like, oh, shit, I need to dump a big heal. And I'm like, oh, shit, I need frenzied regen. Like, a lot of that becomes overhealing. But I think a lot of it is, like, your healer's going to be focusing on, like, the rest of the group, too. So you want to, like, not spook them or like communicate it, I guess, but like don't require a ton of attention. Like try to be like proactive, I guess. With just be very aware of your stacks.
Cooldown usage is always probably like the tanks that see their health drop below 50% and then press a cooldown is very, I don't like the wrong way to play this week. This is something like everyone, and this is just not just tanks, but everyone should be thinking about like damage reduction at the front end of a fight,
and
right?
Damage avoidance. Like if you can like not take a hit that will do, say like, oh, it's only gonna do 25% of my health. Like this isn't too bad. I could just take this damage, but that becomes grievous. That becomes more stacks of grievous. That becomes like the amount of healing required from taking that hit is not 25% of your health. It's like dramatically more if there's a lot of shit going on. So like if you can like maybe you have to sacrifice like one global to just like move and not dip below 90 versus like greeting it, like kind of weigh it. Obviously like do as much damage as you can, but like try to find a balance there, I guess. Something to be aware of. Cool. All right. I think that wraps up what I wanted to do, unless you have anything you want to add.
No, but are you gonna end the video on some kind of like cool statement? Like you need like a one-liner.
One-liner?
Yeah.
That's
all, folks.
That's all, folks. Stay safe out there, kids. I don't know. Respect your healers this week, everyone.
Yeah. Pray.
Be nice to them. Real quick. Also, mage food. Bring mage food. If you have mage food, give it to your group.
Eat it. Yeah.
Like if the pull's over and everyone's at like 50, 70%, 80%, people have stacks, like just sit down and eat and let your healer get mana. Like eat your way out of Grievous as much as you can, and your healer will appreciate it. Or get mage food and like I said, like distribute it to your group and like tell them like, hey, eat between pulls. Helps out a lot, because like say the pull's over, now the tank's like, okay, I'm gonna go and travel for him and I'm gonna pull a bunch of shit. The healer's like, hold on, I'm trying to like dig us out of Grievous. I have like 30% mana. Like the pull's not over because the healer's still in the pull technically. I guess.
I never take the eat faster power from the tormented mobs, but this may be a week you want to do it.
Yeah.
As a healer.
Makes sense.
Just because people don't do that, and it's very frustrating. But then you're sitting eating while fighting is going on, and then Grievous stacks are going, so it's not fun. So fully support that.
Word. All right. Well, that wraps it up. Now we're gonna run a Spire's Key.
Oh yeah. Let's do it.
Sounds fun. All right. I'm turning off my face cam now. I'm gonna tank.